You want abs? Cool, then do me a favor. Stop doing this, get up and follow me. You see, the key to a six-pack actually doesn't start in the gym, but in the kitchen, and not actually at the fridge, but at the freezer. Now keep in mind, this is a very important disclaimer for this video. The amount of food you're about to see is really dependent upon how often I grocery shop, which is not very often at all. If you're going a lot more frequently, you can cut way back on what you're seeing here and scale it down to something that actually works for you. It's why I use the freezer as much as I do, because I have to keep the food from going bad. If you want me to make a video on how to scale this back on a budget, I'll do that for you also. So let me take you through this, because I think it's gonna be a big lesson. It's to not specifically what I'm eating, because I made a whole video on exactly how I eat and what I eat that you're gonna wanna check out here, and I'll link for you at the end of this video. What I'm talking about is the method of how I eat, because I think that's what's most important to you. What do you see right off the bat? A whole hell of a lot of sweet potato. I've also talked about before a whole hell of a lot of frozen yogurt from ATHLEAN-X, because this allows me to kind of maintain that sweet tooth that I have, but do it in a little bit more responsible way, other than maybe pounding on a cheesecake every night. There are some temptations here. I got a couple twin boys. I avoid those, and most of all it's because I come in prepared. So here's a few things to note. Why the freezer? Because this is a whole bag of chicken breast already prepared and seasoned and everything else. There's another bag there, there's another bag there. All of these sweet potatoes, I have one every single night. It's frozen, I put it on the plate. I'll show you in a second how that works. But this is there, and again, done. How many are there? 30, all my egg whites. All backups over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I go through them at a rather rapid pace, but that's why I have them all here prepared. Edamame, some type of frozen vegetable that I like to put on my dish every night. Now we get to the fridge. So in the fridge, let's start with actually one of those prepared meals that I was talking about. So there is chicken on here already that was defrosted from here. There's pasta that was cooked fresh in the beginning of this week that I divided amongst all of my plates. This will be one of my carbohydrates. Now I've got my edamame here in this portion of the plate. This is my fibrous carbohydrate. There's the sweet potatoes that we talked about. So for me, because I'm sort of a lot more active and looking to build muscle, I double up on the carbohydrate portions, but I start with my protein and then I fill it with double the amount with fibrous carbohydrates, in this case edamame with some hot sauce. And those plates are made in the beginning of the week, right? So that I'll have pretty much the same food at dinner for that week, and I'm okay with that. You can separate that differently if you want. You can have different sources of protein or different sources of carbohydrates that you sort of alternate between plates, but I wouldn't try to get too crazy about having completely unique things every single day, because it becomes more challenging to prepare ahead of time. In reality, if you were to look at your own meals, you likely repeat a lot of the same meals often. All I'm saying is if you can sort of hone in on mixing and matching some of the pieces in a way that allows you to pre-prepare them, the consistency becomes a hell of a lot easier, and avoiding some of the pitfalls is very, very easy. Somebody likes coffee mate. I don't eat, I don't drink this, but there's a lot of people here in my house, and I'm able to sort of skip past some of the things that Jesse might not be able to skip past. You know, they look good. I'm sure they taste amazing, but I have my sparkling water. So you guys know how much I like whipped cream, right? Here's one can. You think it's all by itself? See, there's a secret stash down here. Oh my gosh. Just in case I ever run out or run low. I've got backups there too. There's chocolate here. I don't eat the chocolate. There are normal people in my house that like to eat in a certain way. I don't get tripped up by them because of the preparation. Lots of yogurt in here, Greek yogurt. 2 different bins of it, okay? I've actually showed this before. I'll give them another plug. I love this one. Ratio protein. Overnight oats, pre-prepared if I want to do that. Pumpkin, I've talked about before how important pumpkin is for me. I just keep it in a Tupperware container here. My salsa that I put on my egg whites in the morning. Here's those egg whites I mentioned before. One is defrosting, one is already sort of half open. I'll go through a whole thing of these in probably 4 days or 5 days. And then I've got my milk, and there's not just one, there's a ton, because my milk is always going to be part of phase 2 here, my supplementation. So I make a protein shake, 2 times a day, either in the morning or at night at around 6 o'clock when I get out of work, or just at night at 6 o'clock, right? I also have frozen fruit and things I can mix in there if I want to. Vitamins, of course, my mechanics and Dr. C's every morning, omega-3s. And then I have this cool little vitamin dispenser. So you load up all your vitamins, and then you hit one button and it dispenses them all as you need them each morning. Come around the corner here. We basically have a lot of types of snacks. My boys love their snacks. And I certainly can be tempted by the goldfish, but I don't indulge very often because I already am prepared with the foods that I know I probably should be eating to stay consistent with what my goals are. I have to have a certain way that I represent myself. I have to walk the walk. That's how I do it. You will see this though, and I've talked about this before. As a kid, all I ever did was eat cereal every day, morning and for lunch. I like cereal, and I have a sweet tooth, and I can remember how every single one of these tastes. Now it's sort of reserved for my sons, and not really all that often for me. This is the backup area for some of the things I already talked about. Here's all the extra oats that I have for breakfast up here. Tons of backups. My canned pumpkin, there's a whole bunch of cans of pumpkin in there, right? All backups. I don't want to run out. All these here are serving as sort of the condiments for the grilled chicken. How can I make the grilled chicken taste better? There's all kinds of honey hot sauces, tomato sauces or salsas here. Again, backups for everything. I don't want to ever run out. Talking about backups. Backup. 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 So we got a lot of protein just in case, right? If you fail to prepare, you're preparing to fail. Remember that. And again, just to show you sort of the level of temptation, my boys like their snacks. My wife does an amazing job of making sure they stay stocked up too. It's just that we eat a little bit differently at this point. Again, I got some nuts and backup nuts up here, different granolas that I like to put in my oatmeal as well in the morning. The key, again, is to make sure that whenever you're trying to get in shape, it's not just about what you do in the gym, it's also about what you do here in the refrigerator, because 90% of how you look is going to be determined by what you put in your mouth. And if you don't have the ability to take the good stuff and do it consistently, you're going to find out that you're actually going to fall off track pretty easily. Staying consistent requires having a plan and staying on that plan. And the only way you can is if you have the foods that you are looking to eat mapped out and ready, so that you're not just reaching for something at the moment that you find out you ran out of something and you're hungry. You're going to reach for the wrong thing 99 times out of 100, and it's so avoidable if you just prepare. Thank you for coming into my home, and in the meantime, make sure you click subscribe and turn on notifications. Never miss a video when we put one out. All right, guys, see you soon.
Jeff, can I have one of these?
Sure, Jesse.